I've decided to make another video on the front forks assembly. I finally got to that point. I just had a quick look through the video made as I was disassembling it. I can see I've covered some things and missed out others. So since, actually I checked, it was 18th of October, so quite a long while ago, and we're now into June. So just to let you know, what I have done is I've had a go at, I had this shot blasted, and then I just used that grey undercoat, and then I just sprayed it. It's not very good, but to hopefully, I sprayed it and then put some lacquer on it, but hopefully it's going to last a few years. It is a bit not exactly world class, but that's just me, really, rather than the paint or anything. I'm just a beginner, as they say. So I've given it a clean inside anyway. So just to look at assembly parts, this here, what happens with this is there's a new oil seal, shall we call it, which if you look, let me just find it. The way it goes in is, you'll find the markings are on this side. So this is the underneath, which is quite open and there's no markings. So the way it goes in is that way, and where my finger is, just that lower section, that's where it fits down to. So you find out where the markings are, which are here. This pushes down into there. You can use the old seal, I would have thought, just to tap it in, hold it in a vise or whatever. I don't think it's that difficult to push it. I'm going to put some red rubber grease just on the outside just to seal it anyway. You could just put some of the fork oil, it's not going to make a big difference anyway. This is the, let me just find it, the red rubber grease. I like to use it with any rubbers, but it's not essential, but I just think it helps in my mind anyway. So there's a lot of people make this red rubber grease, it's not just Castrol. So I'm going to coat this a little bit on the outside, make sure I've got it the right way around. That pushes down into there. After that's pushed into there, what happens then is this clip fits down. I don't know if you can see a groove. Let me just try and angle it. There's a groove there. I don't know if you can see where, just where I put the thing is. This clip, which I'm just using the old one, seems in good condition. This clip actually slips into there, fits into this groove and holds that seal in. And then what's the last part of this assembly on this particular fork here is this dust seal. I haven't been able to get any new ones, so I thought I'd just use the old ones at the moment, unless I can find some new ones. But this just pushes into there and stops any water or whatever dirt getting into there. That's the theory. And of course down the middle is where the actual, the stanchion, whatever you want to call it, this slips down the middle. So let me just go on to the stanchion part just to go through once again. So this is the top of the stanchion. Obviously you can see the groove there. So this obviously slips up into the forks or whatever. So down here, let me just go to the beginning. This element here, which if you watched the previous you would have seen it, fits down the middle of this. Let me just drop it down just to illustrate. So here we go. It drops down, and all being well, here it goes, comes out at the bottom. When it's out at the bottom, there's this cap fits on the bottom. It only fits one way because it's just got this hole at the other, so that fits on the bottom there. Okay, then this whole section then drops down this fork all the way down. Ooh, so it comes down to the bottom, and then I don't want anything to drop out on the floor or whatever. At the bottom, which you can see there at the bottom, let me just pull this out again just to show you. At the bottom, which is, you're going to screw in this bolt. This bolt fits, let me just see if I can turn it around so you can see it better. So this fits on there. Then up here, a bit shaky, this bolt screws in here. And that's what holds the whole thing together, the top section and the bottom lower. This particular bolt, I've just measured it, it's an M8 and it's 25mm long. What happens with that bolt is also, I bought some new ones. I think it's, yeah, this is one of the new ones. I can't remember what they call these, but this is the one to obtain. I think they're called socket bolt, I do think. And you need to have a washer. Let me just find, I do, oh, here it is. This is the old one, and it's got a little, looks like a millimetre or so copper washer on the end. I couldn't find anything exactly that, but I found some similar washers which I think would do. These, if I just pull one out and slip it onto the end of the new bolt, I don't see why this wouldn't do. It's just a seal after all, and it will compress when you bolt it up. I'm not sure of the torque on the bolt. Obviously don't over tighten it in case you've got to undo it in a year or two when you want to change the when you want to change something inside. So it's all about avoiding being a Superman, really. So there's the bolt anyway, which bolts up to the bottom. Wait, and obviously bolts into here. So that's that section. Let me then go out to the, I'll take this out of here so it doesn't so that's the one little thing, and then this comes out with this. I think I mentioned in the previous video that this spring, it looks to be the same both ways, so if you do happen to get it mixed up, I don't think it matters really. And the same with the mainspring, it seems to be the same both sides, so whether it goes in this way or whether it goes in that way, I don't think it makes any difference. So just coming to the top of this section here, this the silver bit, what we have in here is we have this kind of seal, just because it's the rubber. This, once you put the springs in, and of course put this one in, you will then, I would think, put the fluid in. Just to go through the fluids, I think I showed you last time the 10W 4 coil. This one's synthetic, but again, I don't know what the specification is. You should just check. And I think it needs 100 ml. So in between times, I've got one of these plastic syringes. If you can see it, so I can just suck it out of the bottle, maybe do the 50 ml, and then just do the 50 ml twice. And once you've got the fluid and got the spring in, of course, which is, I think that's the time to have it stood up and put the 4 coil in. Then the next stage is to let me just set the spring out before I go any farther. This little thing fits down inside there. It was really difficult to get this out. I think I probably mentioned before. It's got this rubber seal around it, which I'm not going to change. As I say, it's a 2011 bike. So this fits down there. I'm not going to push it in because I know it's so difficult to get out. And then once that's pushed down, there's a little spring. This little thing here. This fits inside that groove that's just below, like maybe quarter of an inch, 5mm down. There's a groove, and this little piece of metal fits down there. When you try and take this out, it's so tricky to get out, so you know, you can use some sort of spike or something to try and get it out. Once you've got it in there anyway, and it's obviously holds this down, the only other thing you're missing is the cap. This cap is, it's the old one. I'm going to push it in again, and it needs a bit of a clean. And again, I'll probably put some red rubber grease on it because it is kind of a rubber, and it is still flexible, this one, as it happens. And this is just a bung, really, just to stop any water or dirt getting down. That's all, really. Just pushes down onto there, really. Nothing special about it at all, really. So hopefully that's answered a few more questions on this fork. The next stage is I'm going to maybe assemble it, and I'm not sure how much I'm going to be showing. I might just have a summary when I've put it all together, and then just let you know what's what was tricky and what was easy and what was difficult and what was the problems really. So I think that's all for today on this video. Yeah. Any questions, just let me know anyway. But say I always get a new bolt and a new washer when you're putting it back together again. They're only small money anyway. And obviously, I'm sure this 7 years old, this forecoil was never changed, so it's time for a change. And the bolts, just get some, the bolts are really cheap as anything anyway if you do a few bikes. They're pretty standard thing, these bolts. And don't forget how it assembles. It is rather odd, the way that this drops down through this section. Then you put the end on. Then that whole thing drops down the main lower stanchion. And that's when you put the bolt in the end. So I think that's my plan, is to obviously put the seals in here first. Once that's been assembled, then assemble this section, get ready to put the bolt in. So get that down the lower stanchion section, get the bolt in, get it bolted up as far as I can, see if I can get it tight. Then put the mainspring down. Once I put the mainspring down, then next part is to put the forecoil in. Once I put the forecoil in, then while it's vertical, put this seal down it, and hopefully that rubber dust will stop any fluid coming out in case I have it horizontal when I'm trying to push it in. Obviously it's better to have it vertical than have it pushed in, and put that little clip into it, of course. I think I've covered most things again, so hopefully that answers some questions. So that's all for now. Bye.